I'm Frank Campion. I'm the technologist for the Better Sheep Farm programme based out here in Athenry. The Better Sheep Farm programme is all about technology adoption, so we're taking the main messages coming from our research programme here in Athenry, bringing them out onto farm level, and in collaboration with the research team here, the advisors and specialists and the farmers themselves, we're implementing these technologies on the farms and creating a wider message for the sheep industry where they can see adoption of these methods on hand on real commercial farms. These are the four main areas that we focus on both our hill and lowland sheep farms, so grassland management, breeding, production methods and flock health. And they're four of our main research areas here. And as you can see in this graph here, we have 12 flocks dotted across the country, so we have a big geographical spread. We have a number of flock types, including 7 lowland flocks, 2 hill-only flocks and 3 flocks that are operating both hill and lowland sheep. So this geographical spread allows us to work in areas with different soil types, different management practices, going from anywhere from 90 ewes up to around 1,000, 1,100 ewes. So a big spread so we can get different messages from the farms. I suppose my focus of my talk today is going to be on the key messages coming from this programme. I've divided it into two ways, the lowland flocks and the hill flocks. The three main things coming out of lowland flocks is the importance of grassland management, the importance of putting in a breeding plan, and the importance of having a flock health plan. And the really big thing coming from the grassland management is how our better farmers have been able to improve their grass production in terms of kilos of dry matter per hectare on their farms. And this has come about through looking at soil fertility first of all, looking at grazing infrastructure, looking at their grassland management practices, and finally reseeding where necessary. So reseeding is the final step in that and is based on their grass measurements, picking out their poorer performing paddocks. And what we're seeing is that on average the farms are producing over 12 tonnes per hectare, and across the geographical spread we're seeing that this is going from 10 up to nearly 15, and this is way above the national average, which is somewhere around 6.5 to 7 tonnes per hectare on dry stock farms. In terms then of our hill flocks, the three main messages coming out of that are looking at a flock breeding plan, addressing your ewe pre-mating body condition score, and also the strategic management of weaned lambs. So in terms of strategic management of weaned lambs, it's about having a plan for your lambs at weaning time. Different hill farms are going to have different grass availability, different systems, so it's about being able to look at your lambs at weaning, have a plan and be able to react quickly to that. Your pre-mating body condition score is something that's been shown to be very important in lowland and hill sheep flocks, but some of the work previously done in the Better Farm programme has shown that getting extra live weight and extra condition score on ewes pre-mating is going to give you significant increases in both the scanned litter size and the pregnancy rate of those sheep, which is increasing the amount of lambs you're pulling out of your hill flock. And then the flock breeding plan is really crucial to that. So this all is going to revolve around your weaning rate and whether you're going to have how many replacements you're going to need to bring into the flock, the type of ewe you're using, and if you have the availability for crossbreeding. So some of the results from our County Donegal Better Hill Sheep flock, where we done single sire mating on ewes over 2 years, 2015 and 2016, are showing that where we used the 3 purebred Lanark rams used on the Lanark ewes, we were seeing small differences in birth weight, no major differences in weaning weight, but big difference in the mortality. So if we were to compare Lanark 2 and Lanark 3, so if we look at the mortality, which is where we see the big differences, we can see that Lanark 3 with the lowest mortality here is obviously going to leave more lambs at weaning time, more lambs for sale, and leave more money in the farm. And it's important that we're picking out these traits in our rams. We're also seeing coming from some of the hill lamb finishing trials here in Athenry that there's big differences in the growth rate potential of these lambs when they're being finished. So if we're able to pick out our better performing rams in all these terms, it's going to improve our flock performance. It's a small step doing it on the better farms, but it's something that we can improve on, and we're feeding this data back to Sheep Ireland to hopefully better, more accurate genetic indices for hill rams. Finally, crossbreeding is a big thing for some hill sheep farmers, predominantly done with terminal sires. On this particular farm, it's a Belclare sire, it's a maternal sire. It feeds replacements into the lowland flock also operated on the farm. Despite that being a maternal sire, we're still seeing that we're getting over 2 kilos of a difference in weaning weight. So not as big as we get with terminal sire, but still is a heavier weaning weight of lamb. And these are producing prolific replacements that can be fed back into the lowland flock on this farm. So there are the key messages coming from both the lowland and hill flocks from the Better Farms programme.